Happy Sunday, apprentices. So, have you ever been trucking along really nice with your diet and exercise routine, just long enough to start seeing pretty good results? Then something pisses you off. Maybe it's an ex-wife. Maybe it's your current wife. Maybe it's Matt. It just throws you off your rails and you find yourself eating large pizzas and drinking beer again. Well, that's called self-sabotage. That's what's next on today's show. Trading Forex or any other financial instrument carries substantial risk. The topics discussed on this show are the views of the host and the producers only. You should consult with your financial planner before investing in Forex or any other financial instrument. Don't be a dumbass.
Welcome to Day Trading Plumber, episode 53, or Season 2, Episode 1. Episode 53, I like.
Year 2.
Yeah.
I don't. What rings better?
I'm Matt Simpson, but you're not here for me.
All right, self-sabotage. So we're not the first trading podcast to come up with this subject because it's, we've talked about those phases. Self-sabotage can rear its ugly head. And I see you yawning over there. I'm pretty tired today. This new strategy getting me up at 4:30 and laser focused by 4:35 is taking its toll on me too. Self-sabotage is one of these psychological things that can appear at any moment, just out of nowhere when you're trading. I'm I don't want to say seasoned veteran, but I've been doing it a little over a decade. I've gotten criticism for calling myself a professional trader because people are like, professional trader, define that. And you're like, well, I trade for a living. I guess that makes me a professional.
It sure
right?
does.
It was kind of this banter back and forth. I think it was LinkedIn. This guy's like, professional trader. So you work for a firm, and it's like, so you have to work for a firm to be professional now? You're not a real plumber unless you work for a big plumbing company.
Professional just means getting paid to do something.
All right. I've been doing it a while. I make a living from it. I have above average results when you look around the room and you go, hey, what's everyone else doing? Well, in trading, not a lot of people are doing that well. Statistically, it's a pretty tough job. But self-sabotage, I know I'm going to mispronounce it at least once or twice, and Matt will get pissed and we'll get over it. But it can rear its ugly head just like it did me last week. Well, actually, beginning of the week. It's been a long week. Unless you've been under a rock, I'm working on a new strategy. I am doing the impossible. Well, it's possible. But I'm doing what I have ran away from all these years. Right? If we go all the way back to the beginning of my trading career, when it was a hobby and I was discretionarily trading out of the gate and I was running up against all these things, self-sabotage, trading too much, trading too big, having success, thinking I've won the lottery, and then the trade size go up and wham, all of the things that all traders go through. Well, then I kind of, instead of really working on those things, I moved into automated trading because let's face it, putting a robot or a EA, if you use MT4, or an algo.
Is that expert advisor?
Expert advisor. And, the hot term now is algo trader. People are labeling themselves. I'm an algo trader. An algorithm, a computer-based, rule-based system. Now, it's pretty easy to just eliminate all those things because a robot or an algo takes care of all that for you. Now, there's some work you got to put in building it or someone to build it for you because these rules have to be pretty specific. Coming from a discretionary, trading into the algo world and sitting down with a programmer and who back in those days, the programmers weren't traders. They're algo people. So trying to tell someone who's not a trader what you're thinking in your mind. Yeah, well, when it just rubs that line, when it rubs it, then you want to do that. And they're like, well, what's a rub? I mean, does it break it? Does it have to touch it? Well, it could be kind of close. There's no kind of close. So once you get over that hump and you got a system, now you can release all of that responsibility, all of that stress waiting for the setup, which a lot of traders run from. And this is why this business is so hard, because it's stressful waiting for that setup. Patience sucks. And patience is a big part of trading. In those early stages, I realized I wasn't a patient trader. And, it was easy to blame my busy work life. Oh, I got a meeting. It's close. Take it. I'll look at it later. And like we were discussing before the show, this new strategy, one of my system rules is I am not carrying trades after 11 a.m. Meaning, this style of trading, day trading, scalping, getting way down in the weeds where 2 or 3 pips is a big deal. Whereas before, just plant a seed, I've seen a reversal pattern on a pivot, and the likelihoods it's going to start coming back to the weekly pivot on an S2 or R2. Still a great strategy. However, you don't have to be so sharp on your entry. But these markets demand respect, and rightfully so. And if you don't give these markets the respect they demand, they will remind you over and over again, there is no easy way. Algo trading got really popular because it solved a lot of problems that people had in trading. Oh, now I could work on an algo and it's going to execute the trades, and I don't have to worry about that stress. And that's definitely what I teach in my master course, where, we have to shift our thoughts to giving that up to a robot and trusting it. How do we get that trust? We back test, we live test, we incrementally raise those position sizes till we're comfortable with how it operates. Running from all those problems is why I'm struggling a little bit now, because for a better half of the last decade, I've learned how to run that robot system really well. And since I became a full-time trader, I have a lot more time on my hands. And, we started a podcast, and I have a signal service, and I'm now selling online courses, most of which is to lead people to that algo trading system that's done so well for me. But what I realized when I was just letting people copy my trades is they weren't educated enough to make their own decisions because they weren't traders. They know nothing about trading. And I was quickly going down that I'm a money manager space, which I never wanted to get into. I mean, it's like being the GM of a Four Seasons. No one wants that job.
Really? Being the guy at a hotel, at that hotel, nobody wants that job?
Obviously, some people out there do. But
do you have to wear cufflinks if you have that job?
Yes, French shirts. I mean,
maybe I want that job.
It's not required, but we just really advise on it.
It's highly encouraged that you rock your flair.
But let me tell you what that job is. You're selling overpriced rooms
that look the same in the dark.
Well, they function the same as any hotel room, but the bedding's a little nicer. The property's a little nicer, but you're paying $1,400 a night, pretty average rack rate for a Four Seasons hotel room in a city. Now, if you go to a resort, could be $3,000 a night. But what they're selling you is the service. You're teeing yourself up. Think about it. People get over the hump, the price. Usually they're pretty wealthy people and they're entitled anyways, not to say they all are, but they demand service. And when you are charging people premium, they expect and demand premium service. And that's what Four Seasons, all their marketing is. We don't pretend we're the best. We are the best, right? They don't say, we're going to kind of make you happy. We're going to make you happy.
All I need is quiet and
right. But you got
clean sheets.
Your tastes are different than, so the type of customer you attract there is going to not run from conflict, right? So a GM's job is just putting out fires all day, guest fires, like, hey, the drink had too much ice in it at the pool.
No way. Nobody's sending back drinks for ice.
Dude, I will tell you, I spent an hour every morning reading every guest complaint. Every manager goes to the meeting every morning. It's called the Medallia Report. It drives what we do all day. And imagine being the engineer. So my toilet seat, I used to get my toilet seats loose, right? Which is fair enough, right? But it would become the most important thing of my day. Like the GM would be like, how could this happen? We have a program called Perfect Rooms that I'm constantly trying to get in these rooms. But hotels don't make money if the rooms aren't sold. So it's like this conundrum. The rooms have to be perfect. Okay, well, when can I take it out of service because I got to paint it? I got to do all. Never, dude. Well, I can't. How do I paint it with someone in there? So
it's just like rental equipment. Either maintain the machine or it'll tell you to maintain it.
Right.
You have to be a special person. And when I'm wealthy, and that kind of wealthy, not just well-to-do, but wealthy, I'm never going to be that person because I'm not that person now. But you have to be very special, at least in the bad way, to complain about too many ice cubes and to leave a Yelp review.
Yeah, I mean, Yelp is, especially these days.
By the way, I sort of ripped that off from Jim Florentine.
I listened to that podcast too. But during COVID, these places are struggling to just...
Everybody's awful.
Right. I mean, half their staff's gone. The people working there aren't making half of what they were, but they're showing up anyways. And then you go in there and you're like, they just seemed rushed, to take words from him. They just seemed rushed. They didn't seem very happy to be there. Well, no, they're wearing a mask. They're hot. They got to make sure all the stickers are in the right spot.
They're making a third of the money they were.
Right. So the GM of the hotel just gets barraged with other people's, could be legitimate problems, but a lot of them are minutia problems. Now, when I was letting people copy my trades, I've quickly saw myself going down that path. People want plausible deniability. They just want to hand their money to someone else with the expectations that that person's going to do a good job and make them profit. But when they don't, it's not them making the mistakes. It's the person I hired. Because like the topic of our show, no one wants the face looking deep inside and fixing these emotional problems that happen. Self-sabotage is a big one. It's the one that hurts the most because, like I said in the hook in the beginning, that's why fitness and diet isn't easy. It's why it's so revered when someone is in perfect shape and has the physique of a Greek god. That's why that is held as a higher standard in our society because that's not easy. And I know there's all these things that try to pull us down, like we should quit idolizing them because you're beautiful no matter what you look like.
That's untrue.
Well, okay. But the problem is we envy, I don't want to use the word envy, but we idolize things that are hard. Stevie Cohen, one of the best traders of huge amounts of capital. Yes, he did end up going to jail, but amazing trader, like blew the doors off many people. And, I don't want to wash away what a great investor trader he was, because yes, he did take a plea deal on insider trading, but he's revered as one of the greatest traders of our lifetime, because the guy just put up unrealistic results with huge amounts of money, which is a whole nother psychological level. It's one thing to trade your $500 Robinhood account and go, I made 25% today just holding Tesla. And you think you're the best trader. I'm sorry. It's not repeatable. I keep telling people, because I'm getting overwhelming people reaching out to me in all my social media outlets, which you can find me on LinkedIn, Telegram, everywhere. Matt will put the links in the show notes. But I'm getting a lot of people reaching out, because a lot of people are either out of work or searching for something better, which is great. But don't underestimate how much work trading is. To pull this back into self-sabotage, I wanted to just tell what I went through this week. Experienced trader, over 10,000 hours on charts, watching price flow, creating and executing many trading plans and strategies that have winning, decent win percentages. I've followed rules before, but I've never gone this deep into the abyss. 3-minute charts, 1-minute charts, watching every tick, or as Mike Bellafiore would say, the tape. You're at the level. Like, I'm watching the bid and the ask spread shrink by half a pip and making decisions off of it. Very focused. Well, at that level, and this is why so many of us gurus out there talking to, new traders or just bringing them in, tell you to just stay away from all that. Just look at the 4-hour and daily charts. And they're right. You should get good at support and resistance plays on 4-hour and daily charts, and then move down. Too many people want to go right to the intraday, and then they just get their ass kicked. But what happened to me is, being at that new level, that focus, I made 10% in one day last Friday, which I was very proud of myself, because I got in a hole early in the week, came back, I was not revenge trading. I was following the strategy, and had just a awesome Friday, made 10%. No trades open after 11, went into the weekend like, fuck yeah, I'm really on to something here. Because it's been 3 weeks of grinding out Rinko charts, just grinding out some new stuff before I had some momentum into what it's going to turn out to be. Came in Monday all excited, got up at 4:30, watching the charts. I had a few of my rules that were still kind of like, I'll enter a trade on a breakout right on that bar, because I want to catch it, right? I don't want to miss it, right? That fear of missing out. So I go into Monday, watch a price action, make a mental error, jump right into, I have this overwhelming feeling like I just got to jump right into a trade. So take a loss. I hadn't clearly defined my money management rules per trade, right? I did exactly what I tell people not to do. I clearly defined what I want to make, but not how much I was going to risk on each trade. And this carried over from my algo days, where I don't trade with stops, and my swing trading discretionary strategies. Oftentimes I don't enter a stop. I will manage that trade. When you're trading these position sizes and these scalps, it is just, you have to have one, because this thing could get crazy really quick. I'm not necessarily putting in a hard stop, and I'm not mentally telling myself, all right, I'm wrong, get out. I get lucky on a few trades that come back to break even, but then I just go on this run of Nope. Nope. And I'm taking $3,000-$4,000 losses on trades. And then because that depression mode sets in, that, oh my God, I was up 10%. I was so happy on Friday and over the weekend because I'm finally landing on this challenge I put on myself. And then all of a sudden, first day of the trading week, I've taken these huge losses, gave up all of what I made on Friday, so a 10% loss, plus another 4%, so a total 14% loss in that one session. That's self-sabotage. That's like shit just went wrong. Now, if you did that on real money, that is a whipsaw most people don't recover from. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to trade the Asian session. And I made back. I got back to even. Not even what I started with that Friday, but I made it back to an even 50K account. And then I go, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. I'm going to try to shake this off. I'm just happy I got back to even. I'm not looking at a red negative 4% on my MyFX book. So Tuesday morning, ready to go. Still didn't define the rules. Still going in with what I came in Monday with. And just get caught. Loss bigger than it should have been. Loss bigger than it should have been. Sloppy entries. Now I'm revenge trading. And then now I'm stressed out because I'm not in control. And that feeling, that's usually when shit gets really bad. You're not in control. You know you're not in control. And I'm just now forcing shit to happen, which is total self-sabotage. Just like the hook. You've been working out every day. You got a workout plan. You have a diet plan. And we all know when you first start out, because it takes a while to get habits, but you grind it. Next thing you know, you're getting better and better at it. And now you got 3 or 4 months of motivation, momentum, moving and just seeing good results. And then, like out of nowhere, you go out with your buddies or something one night, drink a bunch of beer or, go on vacation. That's usually one that knocks people off. They go on their vacation. That was probably why they started to get in shape. And then they come back. They eat like shit their whole vacation. They come back. And then it's like, and they're just off. Well, they're out of control. And, what I told myself, I was stuck in some trades that I actually thought might come back. And I said, you know what? Now I'm trading my swing trading strategy on what started out as a day trading scalp. And I'm justifying just letting this thing move against me because I'm like, well, maybe I could put in a rollover. It's like, no, close it. I don't care if it comes back. And I decided right then and there, I was going to punish myself the rest of the week and not do any live trading and just go back to the drawing board, define those rules. I will not lose more than 3 trades a day. If I do, I'm done for the day. And I go punish myself for doing so I don't get the day off. I go back to the demo, back to the replay, and I take 50 to 100 trades on replay and try to just push out that mental mistake. It really worked because it helped me define those rules that, I'm not going to take this breakout on the fly trade anymore. But then we get to today, which I live traded today, not actually on MT4, but right on TradingView, and watching a 3-minute candle for 3 minutes as instead of just hitting the button, the fast forward button on replay, plays its role, which it was good today because that patience where you could get through 3-minute candles by 3 clicks to see if your setup's going to happen. Now it's working on that patience, which I think I did a pretty good job today in the chat group, just saying, nope, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Oh, there it is. And, I had a good day. I had a $1,200 day. I did take some on the fly breakouts. Self-sabotage just creeps its way right in. And it usually how you stop it is go back to your rules that you made when you were in control, redefine them, work on them, tell them to yourself in the mirror again, and get back on that horse and not make those mistakes again. Because if we use that example of you went on vacation, you ate like shit for 2 weeks because you went to Mexico because it was really cheap and you had all you could eat buffets and you drank a bunch of tequila every day. Fine, you're on vacation.
Are you an all-inclusive guy?
I used to be. I'm kind of burned out on that. It always sounds so good.
Why would you pay that much money to just go sit by a pool when you can do it here and then come home?
Well, honestly, it's not that much money, dude.
All right.
You could go down to Mexico, all-inclusive, probably like 6 nights, 7 days for $800-900.
And just lay around the pool and drink?
Well, usually you're kind of stuck to a resort, but they have like 7 pools, and then they have like 8 restaurants, and the pictures always look really good. And don't get me wrong, it's a good vacation, but I feel like your cattle getting herd around. Oh, it's dinner time. Everyone goes to the buffet. And after 6-7 days, dude, you're like, I am over it. But yeah, self-sabotage. So when you get back from that vacation and you got off the train a little bit, takes courage, and you got to get your ass back in the gym. Get back on that train. That's why this is so hard. That's why being in shape's so hard. It really isn't. It's just a mental block. Trading is no different. You could have 5 good months in a row. Something happened. The trick is recognizing it early before you lose half your account and, stop it. It's okay to not trade that day. It's okay to go, you know what? I just don't feel it today. I'm not seeing the charts. Those are the things that's really helping me right now with this new strategy is, hey, it's okay. If I turn on the charts today and I'm ready to go and I got the juices flowing and price action, I may have missed a few of my setups that would have turned out great. That's fine. I didn't lose money today. I didn't lose control. I'd much rather miss a setup and miss an opportunity than to jump in one right after I missed it that wasn't quite there or it bent the rules of the strategy. I mean, one of the worst things that you could do is bend the rules of your strategy and it works. Because then you go, maybe I should change my strategy. I'm going to add these on the flies, which is very dangerous to do if you don't have at least 100, 200, 300 tries at it. So you know the probabilities. The more, the better. That's why in like tonight's AMA, I was showing people my trading journal. The amount of detail and thought that goes into every trade that we take, you journal it. Now, the one thing I do want to add is how I felt. Did I feel rushed? Did I feel FOMO'd? Or did it feel good to sit there and watch 9 candles go in a consolidation pattern, just waiting for that strike? Because I will tell you, sitting there watching 9 candles and not doing anything else, no other distractions, no other things to focus on, you will find out really quick what type of person you are. And do you have the patience? Especially when you're in a trade and it's in that bubble of stress. It hasn't quite broke your way yet, but it hasn't quite started dropping to stress you out. So it's just sitting there going sideways, which is brutal for a scalper. Because then you get this like, man, I got all my capital wrapped up in this trade that's going nowhere. And I can't take another one. because one of the rules I have is only one trade at a time because it takes focus. Have you ever self-sabotaged, Matt? Can you remember a time where maybe in the military, maybe you had a shitty job and you just went to work one day and you're like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Fuck you guys. And then you didn't quite think it out. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck. Well, for instance, I have a friend. He'll know who he is if he listens to this show, who had this amazing job. Okay. He had this amazing job working for this ownership group that owns Four Seasons and Ritz-Carlton hotels. And they pretty much left him alone, and they were remodeling one of the hotels, and he was the owner's rep, which, what a great job. You get to review all the work other people do. You really don't have to put anything together yourself. So it's like, oh, I'm going to review the bid of the mechanical guys and try to poke holes in it and get it cheaper. He didn't have to put the bid together. Just gets to poke holes in it. Right? It's kind of like being a consultant. Yeah, I would change that light bulb there to LEDs. Well, how are we going to get up there? That's not my problem. Had this great job. Then he started disrespecting it. Right? He's like, man, I get no support. I'm out here on my own. And I'm like, well, are they up your ass about deadlines? Well, no, I set the deadlines. And I go, well, it's good you have some criticism on yourself, but dude, you get to stay at a Four Seasons hotel. You get all of your expenses paid for. You get paid very well. You don't really have to create anything or do any physical work other than just sit in the meetings and represent the owner's best interests. There's change order. We want to change the color black. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to my designer. No, we can't go black.
Is that kind of like a proxy for a board?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's cushy job, but compared to digging ditches, or if you're on the other side, you're the GC building it, right? You got to build a schedule. He just gets to review the schedule.
My boy's second Christmas, I still don't know why I did it, but I didn't get my wife anything for Christmas.
Dude, why? Well, you just said you don't know why. Did you space it out? Like, looking back, was it just like, oh, it's so focused on the kids?
I can't even say that because I played a lot of Xbox my kid's first year. Because he had no use for me. Because I couldn't do anything other than courier and clean up after him.
Yeah, isn't those first years suck as a dad? You're just
it really does. And you're
I can't play baseball. I can't
feed
ride
him.
a bike.
He's not interested in what I have to offer. He doesn't find me
I can't
interesting.
roughhouse.
Right.
Even though I tried and I would get yelled at.
Right.
You can't throw a baby out the window.
There was a major shift in power and control. And I don't know that I was resentful. I think I was just more bummed the fuck out.
Because it wasn't going the way that you thought.
Yeah, because you get these ideas in your head of what fatherhood's going to be like. You know, I had my kid at 34. And he was part of the 6-year plan, which included not telling people about him. I still to this day don't know why. I don't know if I'm afraid of success, because having a kid is a successful moment, or should be, in any father's life, any mother's life. I don't know if it was a control issue, because I felt like I didn't have any control over anything anymore. And I could control that by
not getting a present.
And suffering the repercussions of that decision. I don't know. That's probably it, actually. I'm looking up because that's where my headspace is. Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly what self-sabotage does. You look back at it, you're like, why? There's nothing good going to come out, just like this week. There's nothing good going to come about me throwing this way oversized trade on right before I go work out and just not watch it because I just don't want to see what's going to happen. I hope I come back. There's that H word again. I hope I come back to my phone and I look down, I see a big blue number that gets me back in the game. No, even if it does, like I said earlier, the worst thing you can do is throw that home run trade on with no sound reasoning and go to bed. Just go to bed. Hope I wake up tomorrow. Boom. Wow. It's a $20,000 winner. I'm back in the game. It's just not going to work out. But yeah, I mean, how'd that work out for you? I mean, was it like couch status for a week or what?
We had been married 11 years at that point. Had I pulled that shit off at 2 years, I'd probably be divorced.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a good...
What would make you think that?
It was not a good place to be in the Simpson house. But I think I enjoyed the attention in the worst way possible. 'Cause I think I wanted to feel something.
So like bad press is good press?
Yes. Yes. Because maybe...
Did spark a conversation like...
Maybe they were talking about me, and that's what I needed. Instead of just being told what to do for a year straight. I don't mind taking orders, but it's got to be an equal issuing of directives.
Right. No, I know how you feel, man. Because it's one of those things. If you could have recognized that emotion or feeling, at least by Christmas Eve, and been one of those guys zombieing around on Christmas Eve. What do I get my wife? I no longer am that guy. I'm like the guy that buys all the gifts in October just because Christmas stresses me out. Maybe it's because I grew up watching it stress my mom out because we were poor. And I think every year around that time, I just saw her just go, shit, I'm not going to be able to get my kids what they want. And, you know, kids are brutal, right? I want this and that. And, you know, as we got a little older, we were just like, you know, just a turkey dinner would be great, you know, and maybe some socks. That just coincides. It's not so much money stress, just the whole facade, right? I got to go shopping. I got to be clever. I got to, you know, make all these extracurricular things that, you know, like I got to be sneaky about it. And then, you know, you throw kids on top of it. Now I got to get my kids gifts, which actually is fun. It's the fun part, right? And that's what everyone's always told me. Oh, you'll get it. You'll get Christmas when you have kids, because watching their joyful little faces. Well, you know, last couple of Christmas, although great, but my kids get way too many gifts. And I'm like, they actually fall asleep before all their gifts. And I'm like, why did you buy all this? And then we had no room to store it. So it just turned into a fight.
This Christmas will be different, huh?
This one will be different because, we'll have a tiny little tree that I could put up and take down in a day. No lights around the house. Oh, I hated that. I mean, if you're one of those dudes that just gets all into it and loves it, good on you.
Good for you.
But
that's not me either.
My brain works almost to like obsessive compulsive efficiency model. It's kind of gotten lax since I've been out of the workforce. But I see 0 point in taking a weekend in my November, putting up lights that I'm just going to be taking down in a few weeks.
When my kid was born for the first Christmas, the lights on the garage outside on the driveway, I replaced with blue bulbs, and it looked really cool.
Yeah,
and
just the ones by the garage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The ones that are on the timer. And
yeah, I tried to get away with that all the time.
Nobody gave a shit. And it looked really cool, and nobody cared.
At your house? No one cared.
So now I do it every year because it makes me feel good. And then this year I get to put a pink one in, so it'll probably be blue, pink, blue.
Yeah, and then it turns into the Halloween one.
Yeah.
See, like at my house, my old house, every season it was like, okay, here's where I go, and I don't want to turn this into marital chat, but if you're into something Great. Then do it yourself.
Don't drag me into that shit.
Right. I think this is the biggest. I think this is the biggest difference between men and women. Right. Women get into a hobby, and it always involves me having to get involved. Right. Like, oh, I want to sew. I need a sewing room. Okay, go fucking make a sewing room.
Why are we even talking about
Well,
this?
no, you got to paint it, build me a table. It's like, you're the husband. Okay, so you do it. And then they never fucking use it. And then how dare you bring it up? Hey, what about that sewing room? Can I use it as my... No, it's my sewing room. You haven't been in there since the day the paint dried. Or, hey, we got to put up all the Halloween decorations this weekend. What? No, I'm watching football.
You cannot tell me on Friday that something has to be done on Saturday. Don't do it. Women, don't do that to your husbands. Don't do it. You can tell them on Wednesday or Monday.
Or frame it as, hey, don't you think it'd be fun to...
Nope.
Well, like
do not give me a honey-do list the day before.
Well, my thing is like...
And women and wives, just because we don't talk and we don't talk about it, doesn't mean we're not keeping a file.
Well, my thing is I don't make her come out and rake the fucking leaves with me.
I've never asked her to mow the lawn.
Right. So it's like, I'm not putting pumpkins shit all over the house.
Do we bottle up our insecurities, build that pressure, and then sabotage as a relief valve mechanism?
Well, I think if you're going to put it in psychological terms, I think that's exactly what's happening, right? Just like you described. You had an underlying issue. You guys had a kid. You felt powerless. You were being told what to do for a certain amount of time. And obviously there was some communication barrier there. So you pinned it down because you're like, not the right time, not the right time. We got this new kid, not the right time. So you felt to express it in a matter that you knew would bring pain. Trading. I don't want to deal with my demons. I don't want to deal with my demons. I don't want to tell my wife I just lost half of the money that I never told her I put in a trading account. I got to make it back. I'm going to hope these trades work. Just like holding on to a losing trade. Because you just don't want to realize that loss. And it's funny because that's what they actually call it. It's an unrealized loss until you've made that conscious decision to hit close. And it just feels so much easier to hold on to that trade you pretty much know is not coming back. Or you're hoping, you're on that hope island. And that, that's a form of self-sabotage too. Because you're running from reality. I found myself right back into it this week when I took such an amazing high of, man, I'm doing it. I'm doing what I've always told people not to try to do. Trade the really tight, a 5 pip stop loss is super tight, especially when you have a 1.7 or 2 pip spread. So it's tight. You got to be nuts on the entry. And I've always just ran from it because I just go, it's impossible. No one, right? The amount of variables, it's still extremely difficult. And you're not going to have a high win percentage. But if you control those losses, if you cut off, if you're laser focused on, nope, 1% amount, I might lose 3, 2 in a row. Now I'm down $1,000. Focus back into it. I'm not going to just jump into the next trade to make this pain go away.
Do you think that's why we procrastinate? Is it pain related?
Pain or laziness or the thought of failure, I think.
Do you think that we're afraid of our own success?
I will tell you, I'm battling this right now with the coaching business or the business in general. I know it's emotional because I will sway one day and be so motivated and be gung-ho and be like just super humble. I have this opportunity to be able to work from home, coach people in a topic that I truly love doing for a living. And then I have those days where it's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm wasting all my time. I'm going to fail miserably publicly. Everyone's going to see on Instagram, hey, I don't see you doing that anymore. You get all this pressure. But then, you just sit back and go, I'm doing what everyone else wants to be doing and just doesn't have the balls to do it. And
let me stop you there. That is 100% correct. Just
it's like
percolate.
The fear of public speaking, right? People would rather swim with sharks than to be on a stage with hundreds, if not thousands of people they don't know. Public speaking, it's the biggest fear. And what's funny is
that's ahead of dying, by the way.
Right. They'd rather be burned than do that. Now, what's funny is if you put yourself as one of those people in the chairs, how many times have you been watching someone speaking and just been critical of them, like what you're thinking? Never. Even if the guy messes up some words, like I will tell you one of my biggest fears, not so much public speaking, but if I have to write improv words on a grease board in front of people, I already know I'm going to misspell a word. And then it's going to be embarrassing. So I will do anything I can to avoid writing on a chalkboard.
Is that why I always hold the marker?
And my handwriting's horrible.
This is true. Is it easier to fail, do you think?
Well, I think when a person learns how to fail and can truly not just say it, right? Like all these motivational quotes. If you're not failing, you're not doing anything. But if you could truly feel in your being that each failure is just a next step to not failing, you'll do good. But most people never push themselves hard enough to get through that. They fail one. Like I'm working that out with my 5-year-olds right now. I'm trying to get them to ride their bikes, which they're a little bit behind, but at least now when they come over to Dad's house, we ride bikes together. They still have training wheels on, but to see the growth, I watched my son just face plant the other day, which was his biggest fear. Like, oh my God, I'm going to crash.
Did you laugh?
Yeah, I laughed, of course. And then he started laughing. He's like, that wasn't that bad. I'm like, see, you got to push yourself and fall on your face. Trading deters so many people because it's tied to one of the most emotional things that you can think of, money. Money is what most people deem as your success meter.
They also attach it to happiness.
Right. Happiness. I get it. Even though chasing that just makes you more unhappy. It's your success meter. How much money is he got? What kind of cars he drive?
It's also what couples argue about the most.
Right. Money. Now you're taking one of this very near and dear to your heart thing and you're putting it at risk and you're driving it. You're driving it. Now, why do you think money management is such a big business? Because people don't want that responsibility. They want to reap the benefits. They want to say, look at how good I'm doing.
But they don't want to pick up that phone. They don't want to answer it.
They don't want to take that risk. They don't want to make that decision. Should I hold Tesla or not? Oh, damn it. Fucking Elon, just tell me what you're going to do.
Before you tweet it.
It is stressful. People much rather hand that off.
What can we do as humans, as traders, to stop destroying ourselves voluntarily?
Well, I think the most important part is, like I've said, recognize it early. So you're going to have to experience it. Analyze, why the fuck did I not buy that Christmas gift? Why did I put that trade in? Best thing that I've done, you journal, right? If you have to write down why you're entering that trade, preferably before you enter, like this is the 200 EMA rejection off, and I waited for it to hit the middle line of the Bollinger Band. Whatever those rules are, if you can't Well, did it actually touch the 200 DMA? No, it got close. Okay, well, you didn't follow your rules.
I found that once you name something and it makes it real, and you can then begin the search, whether that's just between your ears or on the internet machine, of learning about that thing that is now real. So writing it down, you have to use words and you have to name it. You have to call it something. But once you can apply that to it, you almost personify it, which is to make something inanimate real, make it have a life of some sort.
Right. Now it has a value to you. Look at what the media does. I can remember many years ago, there was a guy robbing banks around Denver. And in order to report on it, the media has to name, right? That's why every serial killer has a name. Watergate, right? And ever since Watergate, every conspiracy in Washington was, something gate.
Deflate
gate. But there was a guy robbing banks here in Denver, and they called him the Raspy Robber. I remember it because everyone's like, "You're the Raspy Robber." But like what you're saying, when you're building these strategies or building these rules, you got to name it. First, it starts out as idea. Then you kind of come up with a name, a clever name that fits it. And then it pops in your head. Oh, the box troll strategy, right? I build a box. I got to follow these rules. To finish your question, how we stop it is you recognize it. You communicate to yourself. You work on those issues that you're having. Was it patience? And that all comes from journaling, right? With your trades. Did I enter too early? Was I FOMO'd in this trade? I will tell you, trading this strategy, I miss a lot of really very juicy breakouts. Because there's a lot of times it does break out and you don't get, let's say it's a bullish breakout, you don't get a bearish candle for 50, 60 pips. And you're like, damn it, I should have been in that. I missed it. And there's that negative affirmation on yourself that forces you the next time to jump in it. And it didn't work out.
Do you think that writing it down helps you accept responsibility?
It most definitely does. And then sharing it.
It's got to be the hardest thing.
Yeah. I mean, you should have a coach. You should have someone who's going to be critical. Preferably someone that knows what they're doing, right? Like you could have your wife as a partner in this. You should, because believe it or not, it's half her capital you're using, whether you like it or not. She should be involved at some level, or your brother or your mom, whoever, whoever's in your close circle. However, if they're not traders, they're only going to take you so far, right? Like, and my wife pretty much wasn't involved at all. But I couldn't go, hey, man, let's watch the tape. What did I do wrong with this trade? What?
You're not bringing her into the quarterback's room and watching film?
Right. And, believe it or not, with technology, you can record your trades, right? I'm actually thinking about when I have this system really dialed in and I'm trading it on my live account, maybe when I first throw 50 grand at this and attempt, I'm probably going to record my 4 a.m. to 11 sessions and make a cool YouTube video. Maybe it's the whole week or each day. Maybe I do it live because that's going to hold me accountable. If I got 30, 40, maybe hundreds of people watching me trade live, you can't fuck up. You can't not follow your rules, especially if you told everyone, here's the rules of the strategy. Here's exactly what I'm looking for. So if you see me, just go, I'm in it. Why, dude? It didn't touch the line on the Bollinger Band. You're a banana head.
On the supply chain side, one of the things that we absolutely hate to do is count inventory. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well called.
No, it's counting inventory.
Every October.
Whatever it is, whatever the cycle is, it's the worst thing. Now, some people are made for that. Those people are not my friends. However,
you just lost half of our
I've learned to
listener base.
I've learned to embrace the pain of the inventory, because going through the weeds and doing, like you said, with the 3 minutes and watching it happen at the finest detail level that you can, which is counting inventory and getting dirty and figuring out what's happening when you're sitting at your desk, right? Ordering the stuff and it goes out. It helps you understand the bigger picture. And you understand that embracing that pain and fighting through that pain, you actually come out better. Because as a buyer, you're going to make better decisions on the way that you buy, obviously your prices and all that. And
how much storage you have.
Correct. And
what items tend to get shuffled and lost the most.
That's right. And when you trade, it's the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... Everyone wants to jump in and make money.
Right now.
Right now. And give me one strategy, right? Why do you think a lot of this marketing that you see, I have 3 patterns that I've used my whole life to make fucking millions, and they're selling you a lie. I'm not saying he's a liar and he didn't make money in those 3 patterns. However, he did a lot of work, but now he's telling you it's going to be super easy for you. Now, I'm not going to lie. I tell people I can shorten your learning curve. If you take my course, you're getting what I have learned in the best way I know how to present it in the last decade, which I wish I would have invested a little bit more to have a coach who will work with you for 6 weeks, who will sit there. You can watch every move he makes, and then turn it over onto you, and he watches what you do. I said, you know what? I'm a pretty self-taught person. I could do this on my own. Well, it cost me a lot of capital, a lot of long nights, a lot of soul searching. Like, I should give this up. I don't know how many times after a big loss where I lost 5-6 weeks of hard grinding out profits in one fell swoop, that I go, I'm giving up. This is stupid. All the people around me had said, I'm too stupid. They're right. I'm just wasting time and energy. But I promise you, if you invest in yourself and find what it is you're doing wrong, and a lot of times it's really hard. It's just like anything else. If you want to be great at fitness, you're probably going to shorten your time if you get a fitness coach.
Changing your community applies to everything if you want to be better or worse at something.
Right. And, read books, get educated. It's not going to be something you jump right in, but having that coach and having someone there is definitely going to help you recognize those things quicker.
Figuring out what I really want makes me happy. It's really that simple. But the problem is the figuring out bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like doing the work. I do. What I don't like is facing my demons when you should have entered this trade. You should have bought that Christmas gift, but you didn't. I have a little bit of homework for those of you that are actually trading that listen to the show. I want you to write down, I want you to journal every trade, the time you get in, the time it closed, the outcome, the obvious stuff. But this week, I want you to look deep. If you took a loss or you had a big win, if it broke even, write down in words how you felt, what was your entry in detail, what was your exit in detail, how did you manage that trade in detail, and then review it and share it with someone.
In fact, share it with us, dtpshow@allenfx.com.
Yeah, I'll analyze it and give you my comments if you want it. I'd love for you to take a screenshot. So TradingView, you can easily take a screenshot and send us a link of the trade. If you have it on MyFX books, even better. Deep dive into your, how did you feel? And if you took a big loss, those are good ones to learn from. Did you enter like you were supposed to? Did you exit like you were supposed to? If you did, it shouldn't be that big of a surprise. It shouldn't be hitting you like, man, I took this huge loss. It shouldn't have been that big of a loss if it hit your stop loss where you should have had it. So obviously when someone goes, man, I took this massive loss, I know they went through emotional hell because they kept moving their stop down, hoping it was going to come back, and just kept hoping until they finally had that breaking point.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next week.
Over and out.
If you'd like to learn more about Clayton's signals, please visit www.allenfx.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram at OFPMatt.